Welcome back to the channel, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to all the new subscribers and to all the subscribers of this channel in general, to all the viewers of this channel. So I'm sure you've probably heard this term before, right? Flow state. What does it mean exactly, right? There's been several books written about it. I believe Mishima, the Japanese author, described it in one of his books, or I think he actually wrote about it and dedicated a whole book to it. I'm not entirely sure, but you see this word popping around every now and then, flow state, right? Get into a flow state. So what does this mean exactly? To me, it means to be in a state of tranquility, to be in a state of total peace, where your mind isn't wandering and where you are focused 100% on the present moment. And you enter into this state, right? Quote unquote flow state, right? Where everything just seems to glide and everything just seems to come into place perfectly, right? Combined with the fact that you're present to the moment and you're really at peace and calm, right? It just leads to this blissful state of being, basically. So I'm sure you've been in situations where you've been totally at peace, totally calm, totally immersed in what you were doing. You weren't thinking about anything else. You were just being you and totally immersed in what you were doing in front of you, right? Or you were totally immersed in what was in front of you. I don't know if you can relate, but some of the best ideas, some of the best, solutions that I've come up to problems that I've had in my life, and just a creative, and just being creative in general. Some of the best moments when it comes to those things have come when I was taking a shower, right? Just totally calm, totally at peace, and ideas, creativity just seems to pop out of nowhere, right? Everything just seems to flow naturally and nothing seems to be forced, right? I'm not having any trouble thinking about solutions or, again, just being creative in general. There are other activities that can get you into the state. For example, reading a book, going hiking, or exercising in general. Not listening to music while you exercise. Try it out next time. Just immerse yourself into the workout you're doing and see the difference. Obviously, these are just some of the things that you can do to get into the state, right? But the point here being is that you need to get into a state of total tranquility and presence, right? Something that relaxes you and puts your attention on the present moment, right? So you fill in the blank when it comes to that. Some people, again, exercise. Some people read books. Some people, again, just shut their mind off and close their eyes, right? Quote unquote meditation, and try not to think about anything. Whatever activity it may be, right? So whenever you're in this state of mind, right, in this so-called flow state, again, things just seem to naturally flow to you. And by that, I mean ideas, right? Creativity, solutions to problems. You're in this, more advanced state of living life, I would call it, right? Because if you think about it, we're not meant to walk through life constantly worried or constantly thinking about things, right? What's the natural state of mind? To just be and live life, right? To not be thinking too much. Obviously, the brain is there for a reason. We're supposed to use it when the time calls, but in my opinion, there's this epidemic of constantly thinking about things, right? Just constantly being immersed somewhere else that's not in the present moment, whether it be in the past or in the future, right? So many of us are glued to our phones, right? To technology, to screens all the time. How little time do we actually spend just living life, right? Just doing the mundane and just being in the present moment. And I find that, again, when you're just totally immersed in the present moment and you're not thinking about anything, this natural peace and tranquility just seems to take over you, right? And that's a state of being that I strive to be in, most of the time. Obviously, this isn't doable 100% of the time, but it's a muscle. The more you practice doing it, the more you try to get into that state, right? The more that the easier that it will get for you, and it will become something that just becomes natural. So if you're having trouble, just being creative, or you're overrun with negative thoughts or just thoughts in general, if you find yourself constantly thinking about the past or the future, if you're anxious, if you are, in a state of mind that's not too positive, I encourage you to try to practice this into your own life, right? Just literally practice shutting your brain off and focusing on what's in front of you, right? Obviously, like I said earlier in the video, there are things that you can do to ground you to the present moment and to help you out when it comes to clearing your mind, right? Getting you into that flow state. Another thing that you can do to help you out to ground yourself to the present moment is to focus on your breathing, right? Try not to think about anything, but focus on the count of your breath, right? Exhaling, inhaling properly, belly breathing, not shallow, breathing that comes from the chest, but really focusing on your breathing. And I found this to be very useful when it comes to just grounding me to the present moment. So there's a difference there, right? Just being grounded and being present and entering a flow state. But I think both of those things are, correlated. They're not exactly the same thing, right? Being present is just being totally immersed in the present moment. But I find that when you're in that flow state, presence is a component to it, right? You're totally focused on the here and now, right? So again, there are several things that you can do to enter into a flow state and get into that, state of being, right? So these are just some things that I found to be super helpful when, I'm having creativity issues or when I want to enter into, a really creative state. Or that I found that, when I'm in a really creative state, I'm usually in this state of mind and in this state of living, just totally immersed in what I'm doing, really relaxed, at peace, usually doing some sort of activity that, relaxes me or, I find enjoyment in. I think that's the reason why a lot of people play video games. It's because, their full attention is on what's in front of them, right? It's on a screen. Right, they're not thinking about anything else. Their full focus is there, right? And I'm sure a lot of gamers out there can relate to just entering into that state that I'm talking about, right? Where everything just seems to flow and, for whatever video game you may be playing, right? So yeah, these are just some things that really help me out and that I've noticed, happen in my life when I'm really creative and I'm in a really peaceful present state, right? Things just seem to naturally flow together and just seem a lot easier for me. So yeah, if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for listening. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I make videos on self-improvement. I give life advice based on personal experience, and I occasionally ramble about topics that fascinate me, whether it be an anime, a manga, a TV show. If you would like to watch videos regarding those issues, then welcome to the channel. Once again, thank you to all the subscribers of this channel. Thank you to all the viewers of this channel in general, and I'll